Hi, folks. Given the issues that we've had with live classroom, I've elected to try and do a few screencasts for you just so that you can actually see what we would have done as part of those live classroom sessions. So first off is my EndNote web. So if you basically Google my EndNote web, you can see right up at the top here, that's the address you're looking for. You'll end up at a site like this where it will ask you maybe to create an account. Now I've already got an account created and I'm already logged in, which I'll go into that in 1 second. But once you create an account, what this will allow you to do is to have effectively an online library, which allows you to talk to Word and build in references and so on directly into a Word document from this online library. I have a little bit of sort of random text from a grant application that we can use as our sample text for this. But once you've set up an account and signed in, then you'll be brought to a page that looks something like this. Now my one is obviously a little bit more complex than you might have. So you can see it says all my references. And really what that is doing is highlighting the fact that it's showing everything that I've got in my library. So I've got different types of groups and so on. So you can see that there's a bunch of different subgroups over on the left hand side. But just to take you through what the actual page, I suppose, looks like, is you'll have a tab for my references. You'll have a collect tab, which allows you to collect references from either online, from importing, if you happen to have a reference list already, and get some new references if you just want to type it in manually. Things about formatting and organizing, which we'll have a look at in a second, and so on. And you can also you can share your library with colleagues and classmates if you want to. So the little grey box on the left hand side really is the overview. It's like the file manager for your reference list. So what we're going to do is we will organize a new group. So if I click on the Organize tab, you'll now see it's got a couple of new groups, and you'll also see this Manage Sharing function. Now Manage Sharing is really about if I want to share my library with a co-author who's working on a manuscript, so we're both using the same reference list. But what we will do is we'll set up a new group. So I have a new group and I will call it MSc Training. And then I'll hit OK. So at the moment you can see it's empty, it's got no references in it, and I can also manage sharing and so on and so on. But that's really all I want to do at this point. Now I'm back into my references, and you will see that the MSc training group has popped up in my little box and has 0 references in it. Now I want to collect some references, so I'm going to do an online search. So I go to the collect and highlight that and click online search. And EndNote will think for a minute, and then it will bring you to a portal that allows you to do online search. Now, you can pick the favorites. So I've already put in the DIT library and PubMed into my one, but you'll have to do that by selecting favorites and picking all of the different options. And you can see that there's a ton of them. Okay, there's ones from the States, there's ones from Denmark, and so on. So there's an awful lot of different ones, and you can literally pick the one that you're interested in looking at. So there's DIT library, that's where I found it. And I suppose PubMed, where's PubMed gone, is one of the ones that you'll be interested in looking at as well. PubMed will be there in a second. PubMed. So they're really the ones that that are useful for you, okay? Now, I'm going to pick PubMed, and I'm going to hit connect. And what the little spinning wheel in the middle is really doing is it's actually connecting your EndNote web into PubMed. So when you can search for something now. So if I search for something here, I'm going to search for myself in author, and I'll put in 2015, okay, for the year. So hopefully it will find a paper by me from last year. There we go. There's a couple of other Steve Meanies. None of these are the ones I was looking for, bizarrely enough. but it's not really so important which ones we find as long as we actually find some. So now I can pick, let's say I'll pick the Morris one and the Meany one, and I can then add them to group. So I select the ones I'm interested in, and then I can add them to the group. I'll add them to the group MSc Training, and now it's copied those into the training group, okay? Which means if I go into my MSc Training group, you'll see it has 2 references added to it. And here you go, they will load up and there's 2. Now, let's have a look underneath the hood of one of these. So if I click on the title or the name, I'll go to the reference. Okay? So you see that it has lots of different bibliographic fields and information, and all of these are pulled directly from PubMed. So you know the text is right, you know all the titles and names and stuff are right, as long as they are in PubMed. If you happen to have the actual file, you can attach the file to it. So you can upload a file to it directly. Now, you do have 2 gigs of space available, but for practical purposes, that's as much as you're going to need. You can add images if you want. So those of you who are heavily image dependent, you can actually create a library specifically for results. So if you have lots of results from micrographs or Western blots or flow cytometry, you can create those as results, and almost, I know some people use EndNote as their results database almost. Okay, so there's a few extra functions associated with this. You'll see there's a web link. So this is basically going to take you directly to that web page if you want, with the little blue arrow. But if, for example, I see a mistake, so there's a strange line that I want to get rid of, if I double click on the field, I can now actually go in and edit it. So I want to get rid of this little line. I can just delete it. It will tell me the reference needs to be saved. Maybe I want to highlight something and make it in bold. Maybe I need to have, let's say if I have a formula. So if I have C, let's put in H2O. So I want water in, but I want it to be correct. So then I can use the sub or superscript as needed. So all of those things will allow you to modify the reference, and then you can save it. And you always have a revert reference to the original one if you need to. So the system will pull it back. So there's 2 examples. If you want to collect some more, we can, let's say, do an online search again, and let's try the DIT library, and hopefully it will connect okay. And I'll try myself in again. And just see, does it pull anything at all? Okay, so it didn't find any records. So if I change it to Bain, for example, in author, Bain B, I think Barbara Bain is a hematologist. Hopefully we'll find, okay, we don't find anything there. We'll try biochemistry in the title. Hopefully the fact that it's thinking longer means that there's more things to find. So it's exactly the same principle. But if you search a library, what you're going to get is you're really going to get lots of books. You'll get less journals by searching the library. Now, if I click on year, it will organize them according to year, going up or going down. Okay, so here's one from 2015. Let's take this very recent one and then we'll add it to our group again. So Appling and MSc Training. And then we should get 3 in MSc Training now. So again, you can see it's reasonably straightforward to go through this. There is an article linker function which will take you to the article. And it may not be able to find them, okay? So it's not available electronically. So it's giving you some extra tips. So that's something that you can actually apply if you're looking for something. So that's our essential kind of gathering information. If you do want to put one in manually, you can literally just click on new reference and then you type in all the details. You pick what type of reference you're putting in, and then you can just fill in all the details that you need to, and so on. Try and avoid doing that because it is an awful lot of work to have to put in references manually. Okay, so one of the things that you can also do now, if we click on the Format tab, it gives you some format options. Now the thing that you will want is this thing called a Cite While You Write plugin. Now I have this installed already, but basically it's a small plugin that you can download, follow the instructions. They're very clear, okay? They're very simple. It is not difficult at all, okay? So you can download them and then you can install them. And when you install them, what you'll get is an EndNote tab. So you can see this is a typical Windows view where you have all the different layouts and so on. And you will get an EndNote tab too. So when you have an EndNote tab, you need to it will enable you to effectively put in references and format and so on. And I'll show you that in a second. So what you'll need to do is connect your Word with EndNote. So you have my EndNote web sits in the internet somewhere, and you have to connect your local document with that online presence. Okay? Now, you can open that up directly. So I can open what I've already got open using this button. But if I want to insert a citation, so I'll just hang on, need to take you through that again. So if I want to insert a citation, and I click that button, it's going to, if I click find, we had Meany, so let's put in Meany. And if I hit find, it's going to try and log me into my EndNote web account. So you can log into this, and hopefully this will all work neatly. When I hit this now, it's going to go from Word using the plugin, talk to that stuff that's on the internet, and then come back with a result from it. So it's authorizing now, and there we go. So now it's searched my entire library, remember, for the Meany one, but the one that we actually found ourselves was this one, Parental Decision, and we also found the Morris one. So we've now found some references that we can insert into our text. Okay, so let's pick the Meany 2015 one as the one we're interested in. And you can see it has different options, but you're going to want to insert. So now what it's done is inserted it exactly where I had the cursor. So this is in the wrong place. The reference is after the full stop. That is incorrect. The reference goes before the full stop. Always, always, always. Okay, and you see that when I click on the name of the reference, which in the text is called an in-text citation, when I click on that, it has a kind of grey field around it, and the same for the actual reference in the reference list at the end. And that means it's not just a normal set of text. It's actually something that has a little, I suppose, program associated with it. So I can right click on that and hit update field if I want, and I'll get some complex word stuff which you need to avoid. But what you want to get rid of, if you want to get rid of it, you can pick edit citations. Okay, and it'll allow you to edit it, and I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to hit OK, and you'll notice that the reference list disappears. Now, this is called Cite While You Write. So as soon as you write, it automatically generates what the reference list should look like. So let's put in a few references. So we'll start off where I have the cursor now. So at the end of the word circulation, I'm going to insert citation, and I'm just going to take these from the top to the bottom. Okay, I'm not going to, it doesn't really matter if they make any sense. And then I'll hit insert, and there we go. We get a reference put in, or a citation put in the text, and a reference put at the end. Okay, so let's put in another one. And let's put in one more. I'll pick Morris just so we have a different name. So we have 3 references put in. We have 3 citations in text. Now, if I decide I need to have a second one here, if I think that it's actually very important that I need to have Oyama's paper in as well, I'll click that, I'll insert it, and you'll actually see it understands that I'm putting a new reference into the old space. And it joins the two references together and then makes sure that everything is in alphabetical order in the reference list at the end. Okay? Now, at the moment, the style is a Harvard type style, which is author date. Okay, so if you do want to change any of your citation formats, you can pick them from this drop-down list at the top, which is the different styles. So you can pretty much pick anything you like. There's a huge variety here, okay? And if you do need to select another style, you can get into the EndNote full EndNote list, which is very, very, very broad indeed. Okay, so that's really where you can find as many different styles as you'd like. So I'm going to just pick one randomly, so dyslexia. And you can see you see certain changes that are happening. And as you do them, if it's the same general type of style, I just need to find one that based current opinions, I think are all based on numbers. So you can see here's a number type format where they're numbered and ordered when they're used. Okay, not necessarily in alphabetical order. So these types of changes, so if I need to add an extra, so let's say if I add in a reference here, a new one, okay, if I insert citation, so I'll put the Shafati one in at the end, you'll see 1 to 3 and then all the other numbers update automatically. That makes your life incredibly easy, and I can't emphasize how much use you will find out of this, and it will really make your life much, much easier if you get in the habit of doing it. If you want to, you can actually log in so that the computer will remember your preferences and your password, so it won't keep asking you again and again and again. So you'd get to that by clicking preferences, and then you'll get some preferences that you can change. It's the application one you're most interested in. So that's really a whistle-stop tour of how you can use EndNote to make your life easier, and how you can use My EndNote Web, which is free, has up to 2 gigs of storage space, which is plenty for what you need. So I would suggest that you have a look at it and have a browse through it and see if it's useful for you.